Hello, friends. Welcome to the Wake Up with Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Julie Boye, and today I'm welcoming a friend from across the other side of the earth. Welcome to Kimilu. Hi, friend.
Hello, Julie. I love how you pronounce your last name, Boye. And I am from the future. Okay.
Yes, you're already tomorrow tonight.
Yes, it's 11:40 right now,
Oh my God.
p.m. And
Yeah,
yeah, and we're still connecting.
it's so good. So, Kimmy
Hmm.
Lou is in the Philippines, and she is really just an incredible human being that I'm so excited to be connected with. It took us quite a while to actually find the right timing that worked for both of us. And she is a life and leadership coach. She's a certified master NLP practitioner, an NLP hypnotherapy life coach, and Reiki master practitioner. Not only that, she has a huge giving heart. She's done so many different initiatives to support different charitable organizations. We'll get into that conversation as well. She's very passionate about gratitude and she really loves to be of service. I have just seen this through what she shares on Instagram, just your huge, big heart. So, um, Kimilu, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to hear a little bit about because before all this, you were a teacher. So
Yeah.
tell me kind of about like, did you always want to be a teacher? Was that your life goal as a kid?
You know what? When I was in college, and usually the first day of school, they would ask you, why are you in this course? Like, why are you taking this course? And like, my classmates said, oh, because they want to be a teacher teaching little kids. And then some would say, oh, because I want it for mothering. Like, they want to be the best mother. That's why they're in that course. And my answer was because I love teaching itself. It can be little kids, big kids, old kids, or adults. So it was just like the teaching itself that I really liked. And it wasn't because of the age of who I was teaching. So that's what I loved about it, and that's why I took that course. So that was my initial path in the
And
beginning.
that's it's so interesting because I don't know if you know this part of my story, but I was teaching. I have always taught, like I taught at summer camps and schools
Mhm.
and all these things. And I was teaching overseas at international schools. I was teaching French. And I had decided to come back to Canada to get my education as a teacher, to get my certification. And I ended up dropping out of school. I never got my certificate and I started building my business because, like you, I love to teach everyone. And
Yeah.
I still get to teach and train and do all kinds of things like that, like on a regular basis, but
Mhm.
not in the school environment. So, so you did work in a school for a while, though, yes?
I did work for a while as a toddler teacher. I also had a practicum in a public school. So that was very interesting. The public school system here is very different from, for sure, what you have in Canada because we are a third world country. So teachers in the Philippines really don't get much. I remember I was only getting like $150 for an entire month. And I was thinking, wait a minute, I want to travel the world. How will I do that if this is what I'm earning? So I had to look for another job, which wasn't teaching. It was a desk job. I was managing projects in a condotel. I was talking to unit owners to put their units in a pool, to earn money. And then I also reached my quota right away. I was able to enroll like 80 units in 3 months. So I was just emailing them and giving them updates. All of a sudden, my tears were falling from my eyes. And I wasn't even crying, like they were just literally falling down my cheek. And I was thinking like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? Why am I crying? I am in a good company. I'm earning very well. My workmates are great. What is happening? And each night after that day, I kept on crying for I don't know what reason. I was lost. And I was even trying to feel my chest. Like I wasn't feeling. So I was so like, oh my god, like panicking. And I would describe it as despair, not even sadness. I wasn't feeling sadness, I was feeling despair at that time. So I said, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? I need to talk to someone. I need to know what's happening right now. And so I looked for a life coach in the Philippines. Googled it. Life coach Philippines, life coach Manila, life coach Makati. Like I really tried, but nobody was coming up. So I said,
Wow.
"Are you serious? Like, what if, like, what will happen to me if I don't get to talk to anyone? I need somebody to talk to." And it also crossed my mind at that point, like, maybe I could be the life coach. One day, if they Google someone, my name will come up. And so, to cut that story short, I found myself in San Diego, California, taking that neuro linguistic hypnotherapy life coaching certification. And I came back to the Philippines and I practiced. And true enough, people found me while they Googled. And here I am 11 years after.
Oh my goodness. That's, wow, what an incredible story to literally Google what you're looking for. You
Yeah.
can't find it. So then you decide to become it.
Yes, I was lost and I found myself by
Wow.
being,
I, honestly, and then you traveled to San Diego. Was that your
yes,
first time going to the United States or?
not really, but it
Okay.
was a huge investment.
Yeah, that's
And yeah, the
amazing.
thing is, nobody in the Philippines was successful or was known to be doing it. So it was a gamble. Like, okay, we're sending our daughter there. Is this play money? Or like, what's happening? My dad actually told me, okay, we will support you, but just have a plan. Obviously, I didn't have a plan. It's like um a job interview. You just keep telling them, yes, I can do it, and you kind of figure it out. Right? That's what happened to me. Yeah, that's my story.
How long were you in San Diego for?
The entire session was 17 days, 12 hours a
Okay.
day. So
Oh,
I had a
wow.
fried brain.
Yeah.
And then, so I had to take it two times. The second time I was with my mom,
Okay.
and she took it as well. And the whole idea of talking to someone so that I can be fixed was actually from my parents because they were marriage counselors. So as a child, I was seeing them talking to people and helping them out. But in my mind, I was thinking, but I'm not married. I don't know if they can help me. And that's so awkward. I'm their daughter. I don't want to talk to them. So yeah, so that's what happened.
So then you come back to the Philippines and you've got this training.
Mhm.
And then now you're still the only coach that, is coming up. So how did you start your business? Like how did you get those first clients?
Well, right now, just to be very clear, there are a lot now of
Yeah, now.
coaches. Yeah, now. It's just that I'm pioneer. And
Yeah.
before, when I was starting, I'm so grateful because my friends were very supportive. You know how I see this a lot on Facebook and on Instagram. Like they say, oh, your friends won't support you. It will be like strangers who will actually support you. But not in my case. I'm so proud that my friends actually paid me to get my services from the very beginning. Like,
That's
oh my gosh, super blessed.
that is really awesome. That's so
Mhm.
fantastic. I love what you said about being a pioneer. And it's
Yes.
interesting because you also, I mean, you decided to do it to come back to serve your country and your city and
Yes.
your friends, right?
Correct. Yes. When I was in the classroom at that time, I was looking around and it really like dawned on me, and it was like it sealed the deal because I was the only Filipino in class, and I was the only one from the Philippines. So I was thinking there must be a reason why I'm here. And that's why, right place, right time, right people, and that means, I was maybe divinely appointed to do this work for the Philippines, to take it with me, to do this for the Filipinos.
Wow. Well, I was going to ask you to tell me a little bit about your mantra. So say your mantra one more time.
You are at the right place at the right time with the right people, always and always.
And where does that come from? Did it start from like that first opportunity when you were, overseas and you saw yourself as that? Or is it kind of looking back, you're like, yes, right time, right people?
Yeah, well, looking back, yes. And I have just always considered, I can't even remember where that came from. And I know a lot of books actually use it. Uh, I can't remember exactly where that came from. I just know that I always say that each time I start a session or a workshop or a class. I always tell them, you are at the right place at the right time with the right people. There must be a reason why you are here. Just the same when I was in my class. There
Yeah.
must be a reason why I was there.
And to me, that really speaks back to our intuition and this
Mm,
knowing that, we're always going to be exactly where we need to be at that point in time for our own journey. It's interesting. I have a morning mantra and a little, prayer that I say usually when I'm at the beach.
mhm.
And I say the same, thank you for bringing me the right people at the right time so that together we can manifest our hopes, goals, and dreams. So
Love
I say that to myself most mornings, because I do feel that there's a gift in timing.
mm,
And like you said, it's that allowing, like you took a big leap, you took a big jump. But if you hadn't, I mean, let's just imagine how many people at the same time as you, Kimilu, were searching Life Coach Philippines and nobody did anything.
exactly.
But you did.
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with someone, I forget what, earlier, and I was sharing that I don't want to lose my crazy. Like, if you have that crazy idea, go for it, right? Like, just do it because who else will? The idea came to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came to you and then it's up to you to decide to take action with it or not, which goes back to, right people, right place, right time. Am I
Mhm.
saying it the right way?
Yes. Hmm.
Right? Like that's it. And we're not always going to take action and then often we'll be like, "Oh, I wish I could have just." There are likely people that are like, "I should have just taken action back then." So today I know that in the last year actually because the Philippines has been fairly locked down I think for the
Yeah.
past year, right?
Yeah.
So you did create a new program to support people. I believe it's called Sacred Space. Can you explain
Yes.
to
Correct.
me what that looks like?
Yes, well, I have been wanting to create a certification program. But last year it was so apparent because I was getting booked like back to back, and even on the weekends, I said, okay, this is like, I can't. There needs to be more of us doing this work. So I
Right.
said, I will do the certification now. And I did it. Basically, sacred space, you become a sacred space holder when you join the certification program. And you can be like a mother, a leader, heart centered leader. You can be a business owner, entrepreneur, coach, consultant. Uh, as long as you want to hold a sacred space for people, meaning a space where people can become truly themselves, can speak authentically, can share without having any fear or doubts that they will be, judged. So it's a safe space that you hold for them, and it's very like tender and important, and don't like there's a warm fuzzy feeling when you hold space for people that way. That is the Sacred Space certification.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Do
Mhm.
you find that people were open and quickly able to adopt to the online model? Like was the adaptation? I know that in the Philippines, like people do have access to tech now, right? It's become a lot more apparent.
Mhm.
There's a lot more access to tech. Do you find like was that a barrier, or were people like already online when you started this program last year?
Um, it really depends on, I guess, the person that you're talking to, because some got stuck. Like, oh my gosh, we can't continue because we're not meeting in person anymore. And
Okay.
others actually really thrived through the online world, especially, businesses, like networking businesses. My business thrived very well online as well. So it's really, being able to adjust quickly and being flexible to the signs of the times. And this is it. Like for me, I think I embraced it quickly and created right away according to how people can actually manage to benefit from the program.
That's a great lesson too, is that I hear this in a lot of what you're saying is you're someone who just takes action, right? You might not know how it's all going to work out, but you just like, well, just going to
Yes,
take action.
yes. My other, like my business coach was saying, Kimmy, you're like an ultimate implementer, like a quick implementer. That's how she coined it. And I said, oh yeah. And I didn't even realize it, because if I think of something, I'm going to do it because I want to find out right away if it's going to work or not. To me, everything is like an experiment. We're just researching, we're studying, we're trying this out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, move on and learn from that. So that's how I see things.
That's actually a fantastic lesson. And because so many of us hesitate, we don't take action because we're scared of whether it's going to work or not.
Great.
And what
Mhm.
you just said is it actually seems really obvious when I say it again, but it's a fear that keeps a lot of people from, taking action, is that, well, if I just try it and take action, then I will know if it works or not. And then if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, it's this, what I think is that part of it is the sunk cost fallacy. So where if you've
Mm,
put time into something and it's not working, it's that ability to say, I can just cut my losses and move forward rather than keeping to sink money on something that's not working. That's a very
mhm.
difficult mindset thing to get around. So how do you get around that? Like, because it sounds like if it's not working, you're just ready to move on. How do you move forward instead of just like keep going, keep going, keep going?
Right. I think it's really like there's a little line there where you see the failure or that time spent there to be a lesson,
Mm.
really, right? I mean, obvious. It's a tuition fee that you paid for, basically. That's how,
Ooh. Oh, I
right?
like that. It's a tuition fee that
Yeah,
you paid to learn the lesson.
yeah.
Oh,
So you didn't, yeah, you spent money to learn that lesson.
oh, that's so fair. And then why keep you learn the lesson? Why keep learning it and paying more into it? Just move on and learn from it. That I think that's the biggest thing too, is like, as a
Yeah.
business owner, myself, I've been in business for 15 years and there are lots of things in my business that have not worked.
Mhm.
And I can learn and I can do things differently the next time, or I can just keep trying the same old stuff and just keep wasting time and money and energy.
Yeah.
And it's that remembering that there's a lesson there. But I like that thought of like it's a tuition you pay to learn the lesson. So smart.
Yeah. So stop already paying for that tuition fee.
Yeah, don't keep
Yeah.
paying. Um, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about gratitude, because I know you're a super grateful person. I know you love, gratitude and everything that comes with it. You created a really cool product. Tell me about this
Yeah.
grateful jar that you had created.
So one time I was just scrolling through Pinterest and I saw this idea that you can actually cut strips of paper, write down things you're grateful for, put it in the jar for 365 days, and then you open it up and then you read them all so that you can reminisce your entire year of what you were grateful for. So in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a treat. I want that. And I actually I experimented again, and I bought 10 jars, 10 pad papers, 10 pens, 10 bags, and I gifted it to 10 people whom I thought would actually appreciate it. And they gave me feedback. They said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that grateful jar. I love it. I write on it. I feel good about it." And so I thought, you know what? These people will be lazy to pick up a jar, get pad paper, get a pen, and write it down. So I created an entire package with all of it in it, and I sold it, and part of the proceeds actually helped School of the Deaf in the Philippines, and it helped them with their transportation allowance. So it's been, I think, 8 years that I've been doing that.
Oh, you're still doing that.
Yeah, yes,
Wow.
it's here. So
I know. It's
yes.
like, is it for those wondering, we are on video. Of course, I love to record my podcast on video. So I thought this was like a project you'd done before. So you're still doing this amazing project. Wow. That's
Yeah.
so great. And tell me about what's your connection? Like, do you have a connection to the school for the deaf or?
Uh, when I was a young, of course, I was young when I was a child, and my dad had a factory, a furniture factory, and they had carpenters who were mute, deaf and mute, and they also had a secretary who was deaf and mute. They also helped. It was like their apostolate, like people they really help. So I also got that from them, and I just kind of, continued the the process. But I don't know anyone actually, like personally. I just like helping them because, with gratitude, it's like we're grateful for our senses, sense of taste, sense of smell, and then they don't have like sense of hearing. So I thought it was just, right to give back to them.
I I love that you took like something that's a gratitude product and then giving back in a way that creates more gratitude and more ripples that way. And then everybody who's using the jars, of course,
Mhm.
as they do their gratitude on a daily basis in their jar, they're creating gratitude ripples. And
Yes.
you're right. A lot of people won't just go out and get the jar and the paper and the pen and make it happen. So when you put it together in a package, it's something
Yes.
that makes it more accessible for people. So
Yeah. I even
that's
created like a community around it. So it's the Grateful community. And, pre-COVID, we would have meetups. And then I
really,
would like do little workshops with them. So it's like a grateful community. Everyone's so grateful.
oh,
Yeah.
what a great idea. I absolutely
Mhm.
adore that. Oh my goodness. And then now you've just launched another initiative. You are an ambassador
Yeah.
for another organization that helps education. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's again right time, right place, right people. Because a few weeks ago, I was really looking for an education advocacy or like charity, and they sent me a message like out of nowhere. Like,
Mm,
okay, sure, I want to meet
nowhere.
up. Yeah, I want to meet up with them. And when they discussed the project with me, they were really looking for an ambassador and somebody to spread the word and all. And I'm like, perfect. And I'm creating a shirt, a mantra shirt for my birthday. Why don't we just, collaborate and do that? So now each shirt provides education for Filipinos who don't have access to it. So there.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's because the Philippines is still a third world country. I mean, we know, yes, some Filipinos have access to technology in school, but a lot of people, I mean, I can't imagine in the pandemic how hard it's been for families that don't have access to technology to
Yeah,
get education.
there's no school for them.
Yeah,
Period. Yeah.
that's Yeah, we forget. And again, this goes back to gratitude, right? We take
Mm,
for granted that when they close the schools in Canada or the United States, the most kids, not all, I will say,
yeah.
not all kids
Mm-hmm,
have access to technology, but a far larger proportion can
mm-hmm.
go online. And when that happens in a country like the Philippines,
Yes.
what happens to these kids?
Yeah, like they don't have, obviously they don't have a laptop or an iPad. They
Yeah.
won't even have Wi-Fi. They won't even have electricity. So yeah, it's difficult. And we need to be very grateful for what we have, like with me, with my business, on how it's thriving. Yeah, I mean, I have forgotten myself that, oh, there's other people who don't have access to this information or to these sessions and programs. So that's why I'm trying to help in my own little way.
I think you're helping in a big way. And I
Mhm.
think doing grassroots community initiatives is really what I think that's one of the things that the pandemic has brought people closer together and really understanding that their own communities need to be served and their own communities. I mean, I don't know of a community that doesn't have people in need. And perhaps before the pandemic, it wasn't as obvious. But
Mhm.
now these things become more obvious to us that not everybody has the same access that we do to so many things that we literally like the fact that you and I can just chat on a Zoom meeting 15 hours apart, totally across the world with our tech, like that's a huge gift and easy to take for granted. So
Mhm.
I thank you. That was such a powerful reminder. Thank you.
No,
I have a
thank
question for you.
you.
Okay, I have a question for you here. So if you could reach back in time and talk to, so you're an experienced life coach. You've been doing it for 11 years. If you could reach back to Kimilu back at 24 at her job, tears flowing from her eyes. She can't, her heart isn't like,
Hmm.
it's just not there.
Mhm.
What would you tell her?
While you were telling me the question, the line that kept on coming was "You do you." I don't know why. I don't normally say that, but that was the phrase that came. You do you. Like whatever, maybe whatever your heart desires, do it. If it makes you happy, do it. If you feel it's crazy, but you think it'll work, try it and do it. So yeah, you do you. Whatever you feel is so you. Don't allow like society or other people to judge you or bring you down. You do you.
Oh, you are beautifully, unapologetically you. That you show up as you. I love the way you show up. I love the way you show up authentically. I love the way your heart is just so. I mean, it's interesting how you can feel. We've never met, and I already knew you had a really big heart just from seeing you on Instagram. So,
Thank you.
um, tell me. So, where do we find you? I know you hang out a lot on Instagram. What's your Instagram
Yeah,
handle?
that is my place to be, Kimilu
Okay,
Life Coach. And I have a website, www.kimilulifecoach.com.
amazing. I'll make sure that everyone has those links. Now, before we wrap things up, I'd love for you to share a little bit about what gratitude looks like in a day for you or in a week. What kind of ways are you personally practicing gratitude?
Ha, and little things for sure. Not well, of course, the amazing things are great, but it's really the little things like just having a deep breath in, like being able to pause every now and then for that deep breath. I love that. And if you are into sunrise, I am into sunsets. Like I actually just sit down and watch the sunset because I'm actually awake at that time. That I'm so grateful for that. I love long showers as well. I don't have a bathtub, but in my next home, when I build my own home, I want to have a bathtub. I want to just bask in like the water. Um, I am grateful for um like the birds singing. Just these little things that not a lot of people notice. I try my best to notice them. So that is gratitude for me.
That's absolutely perfect.
Mm,
Sometimes we get caught up in gratitude being difficult and complicated. And I love doing my gratitude journal. I really enjoy it. Like that is something I really enjoy. I've been doing it for like a decade, every night
mhm.
basically. And that
Yes.
works really well for me. Not for everybody. What we're trying to share here are all the different ways that you can show up and practice gratitude. And what you're saying, like, for me, yeah, watching the sunrise is gratitude.
Mm,
Watching the sunset, same thing,
mm,
right? It's that thank you for this gift of another day, right?
absolutely.
That's really for me, that's the reminder when we see the sunrise or the sunset. Thank you for this
Mm,
gift of another day and the opportunity to be of service to others and make a difference in this world. Kimilu, you are making a difference in this world through your coaching, through your initiatives, through your charity, and all the ways that you serve just by being totally authentic you. So, thank you so much for this incredible time together. I'm so grateful that we had the chance to connect and just sending you a big virtual hug all the way across the world.
Yay, thank you so much, Julie, for having me. And I'm so grateful for this moment right here.
Awesome.
Yay.